Good evening, everyone, and welcome to the Abington Board of Selectmen meeting, June 26, 2023. The time exactly being 6:32 p.m. I'd like to call the Board of Selectmen meeting to order. And as we always do in tradition, we start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Please join us. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. All right, first on our agenda, we have public announcements. Ms. Justberg, do you have any public announcements?
I do. I have two public announcements. On June 21st, this past Wednesday, the Abington Elderly Services hosted a cookout in honor of all our Abington seniors. And I personally want to thank the Board of Health, DPW, Fire Department, all the department heads that came and helped serve, cook, helped us out in a really hot day. And I'd also like to say that the Abington Elderly Services dedicated the media room to Lois D. Kelly. Lois was a member and the president of the Abington Elderly Services since 1978. The COA will be offering media classes, phone classes that we all need, and for our seniors, which is a huge help. And the media room was reconverted and updated, and it's absolutely stunningly beautiful. And if you have a chance, please stop by the Abington Senior Center and take a look. My next announcement, I was honored to join Amy Barrett for an honor that she shared with a ton of women in Abington, in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. Our own Amy Barrett, who is the director of the Council on Aging, received the annual 2023 Commonwealth Heroines Award of Massachusetts. She was the director of Abington Council on Aging. She was a Shine coordinator for the past 8 years. She is active in her former town, which is Abington, where she was born and raised, and also her new town of East Bridgewater. She is also on the Opioid Settlement Fund Allocation Committee for the town of Abington. She is a fierce advocate for our most vulnerable, and I'm really proud that I was honored to be able to share that award with her.
All right. All right. Congratulations, Amy Barrett. Mr. Chapin, any public announcements?
No, sir.
All right. I do have one public announcement on behalf of Liz Shea, the assistant town planner. Heat mapping and heat watch. It will be collecting heat and environmental data. The town of Abington was invited to participate in a grant to measure how hot it gets in our area. The NOAA has funded the grant, and we are the second set of communities to have this opportunity. We do need Abington volunteers to drive and some to ride along and navigate. Tentatively, we will be using the Avon Town Hall as a staging area for the volunteers. The NOAA will provide the equipment that will be attached to your vehicle and will drive a predetermined route and gather the temperature data throughout through the equipment. There are 3 separate periods during the day in which you can volunteer. The data gathered will be used to develop temperature and heat index maps of the 3 participating communities, and that is Abington, Avon, and Brockton. This is something that we've gotten a grant to do for the town of Abington. This is great to see where our hot spots are. Actually, really, really great, and it's also a climate and an environment initiative as well. Vehicles gathering the data will be equipped with sensor equipment from the NOAA. There is a tool on the state's MVP website that you can use to see how the temperature is predicted to increase, and the number of hot days will increase as well if you are interested in the topic. If you are interested in volunteering in Abington as a resident, please feel free to call Liz Shea at 781-982 0069, or email Liz at lshay@abingtonma.gov to sign up. The target date for the heat mapping and heat watching is for Saturday, July 29th. Hopefully, weather permitting, we can still do it. We will keep the town informed and updated on that as well. And just also as a reminder, it's up on the Town of Abington Facebook page. The Fire Station Building Committee, Fire Station DPW Building Committee has a survey out on our the town Facebook website to hear input about the potential project of a fire station DPW building going next to the police station. So we wanted, the town wants to hear from our residents, hear from you, so check that out. That is all I have for public announcements. I will now open up public comment. Any public comment from the audience? All right, hearing none, we will go into public appointments. All right, we had scheduled, hold on, let me get this. Public hearing, the Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing on Monday, June 26th at 6:35 PM in the Town Hall, Carter Room, 500 Glenowitz Way, to add a new Class 2 license to their commercial garage license at Excel Auto Collision, 123 Center Ave, Gustavo Matos, manager. I will hear a motion to open a hearing. I will get to that. We just need to open the hearing first. I will hear a motion to open the hearing.
Can we open the hearing if he hasn't, if he hasn't
So
put the ad in the
so
paper?
He has put the ad in the paper.
He
So,
has?
yeah, the fact is, the
So-
ad is in the paper, but he didn't connect, or didn't send out the notice to abutters.
Okay, so
So
can we
we
open the
do- we
meeting
can
without
open-
that? Okay,
yeah.
thank you.
Yeah, so no, that's why I was going to bring that up after we open the hearing. I will hear a motion to open the hearing.
A motion to open the hearing?
All right, Ms.
I'll
Jesberg?
second.
Tim seconds. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right. We have now opened that hearing. We did receive some correspondence from the manager to request that the hearing be continued to our next meeting on July 10th, to make sure that, proper notifications for the abutters of the property. So the hearing will be continued to be open, and we will postpone it to, July 10th, excuse me.
Can you do that without a vote?
Nope, you need a motion to continue it.
Okay, so I will hear the motion for that as well.
I'd like to make a motion.
All right, Suzanne makes the motion. Is there a second?
Before that, I would just like to know if anybody came tonight to speak on it before we continue it. I'll do that through you.
Okay, yep. Is there anyone from the audience who would like to speak on this particular hearing?
Thank you.
Okay, all
I'll
right.
second her
Thank you,
motion.
Tim. Okay, Tim makes a second. Any other further discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right, so this hearing is postponed until July 10th.
Continued.
Continued till July 10th, thank you. All right. Time being 6:40 exactly, we also have a public appointments for request of change of closing hours, Terra Nova Center Market, 1501 Bedford Street, from the manager from Monday through Saturday, 9 PM to midnight, and Sunday from 5 PM to 10 PM for the bar only. All right, you will have that in your packets. Is the owner of the property here? All right, come on up and state your name and address and tell us a little bit what you want to do.
Yeah, hi, how are you? Yeah, Edvar Marcos Jardim, I'm the co-owner. My sister was here with me at the first meeting, but now she's not available to come today. Yeah, we decided to change the closing hours as a customer's request since we are from Brazil. We have like the soccer games starting at around 8 p.m. and then we have the World Cup in a couple of years. They request if they can watch at the bar. We do have TVs at the bar, and that's why we said we come to the town and ask to At first, we only keep the bar at the same time as the restaurant, but now that we have customers requesting, and was a lot, some ones want to stay late watching the games, we said we can't, we only can serve until 8 PM as we requested at the beginning. So we came up and talked to, what's her name, Nancy, and she told us to come on this meeting to ask that. And that's the only end. We're not gonna open every day until, we put it midnight to be safe, but the game's never past 11 o'clock, but just to be safe. In
What
case-
what are your regular hours now? for the bar?
For the bar is 11 to 8 PM,
Okay.
Monday to Saturday. And Sunday, we only open until 5, so it is 11 to 5.
So your request is to go to 11:30 PM Monday to Saturday and 10 PM on Sundays?
Yes. Yeah, we actually, yeah. Nancy wrote midnight at the
Yes.
beginning, and then we said midnight to 11:30, whatever works.
Are you looking for 11:30 or midnight?
Midnight's fine. We don't have seating at the bar. We only have the restaurant tables. So if they're gonna stay late watching soccer games, they have to order appetizers and then be sit at the tables, not at the bar. We don't
Okay.
have seats at the bar.
So you'll still be serving food straight up till the time you close?
Just appetizers.
Just appetizers, but
appetizers, yeah.
that's,
So the restaurant, the big buffet will be closed.
okay.
Appetizers and beverage only.
I'll make a motion to approve the extended hours for the
Thank you.
liquor license Monday to Saturday from 11 AM to midnight and Sunday 11 AM to 10 PM.
All right, there is a motion on the floor. Is there a second?
I second.
All right, Suzanne makes the second. Is there any other motions to be heard? Anything heard from the audience? All right, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Unanimous. All right.
Thank you.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah, we just wait for ABCC to send us the letter and the new license with the new time. That way we can program that. Thank you very
Perfect.
much.
Thanks.
All right,
Great,
thank
thank
you.
you.
Probably a good chance,
Best
right?
season,
Well, then USA.
best season Miami now, so.
We lost the last game for you. Thank you, guys.
All right, thank you. All right, next on our agenda, vote to approve minutes of June 12, 2023. We don't have those minutes at our disposal at this time, so we will postpone, we will continue that vote until next meeting. Next on our agenda, we have Adam Gunn, our amazing Veteran Service Officer, with updates and vote on appointments to Veterans Advisory Council.
Thank you, Alex. First and foremost, I'm here today to thank the individuals who volunteered to be a part of the VSO Advisory Council. 8 individuals from this community made the decision to volunteer for one of the 5 positions, taking time out of their busy lives for the good of veterans and widows. Before I read my recommendations to the selectmen, I'd like to quickly introduce each of the residents who applied. Travis Partington, Bill Dodge, Justin Simmons, Phil Delaney, Pete Walters, Jandis Walters, Ann Welch, and last, but certainly not least, Bob Pratt. Most of these individuals have already been helping out the office in one form or fashion, but all of them have the desire to give back to veterans. I'm here today in my U.S. Navy Chief Petty Officer ceremonial full white uniform to honor and thank these individuals for being here today, who raised their hand to serve yet again. Thank you to each of you. It takes a certain kind of person to seek out an official appointment so they may volunteer their time selflessly to serve others on a regular basis for a brand-new council. Thank you to all of you. I wear this uniform proudly for each and every one of you to not only thank you, but to let you know that I will do the very best alongside of you to support each of you the best way I can. I will give you my all with the time I have, and I expect the same in return from each one of you. And I truly look forward to changing lives veterans and widows in Abington. So thank you. It's a difficult decision to narrow down the 8 to 5, but my hope is all of you will continue to stay involved in this office, as we'd love to still have you work with us and support this community. So without further ado, Board of Selectmen, I recommend the 5 residents be appointed as members of the Abington VSO Advisory Council. Travis Partington, Bill Dodge, Justin Simmons, Phil Delaney, and Pete Walters. And again, thank you to each and every one of you who volunteered to be a part of this position, advisory council.
All right, thank you, Adam. Any discussion from the board?
No,
Any comments or?
I just thank you, everybody. I mean, the fact that we got 8 applications means a lot, and the work that Adam's done is proof of that, so thank you.
And I will second that with what Tim says. Thank you for stepping up and volunteering. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you. All right, with that being said,
Have Leanne?
and is there anybody who has put their name in for these appointments and want to get up and speak or say anything and give any remarks? Come on up. State your name and address.
Janice Walters, 157 Green Street in Abington. Adam, I just want to thank you for everything that you've done for the veterans, and if there's anything you ever need, just give us a call. I grew up in Abington. My last name was Glazebrook. I'm the daughter of a Navy veteran. I'm the spouse of an Army veteran, and I am also a veteran myself. And it's just, with the really little time that we've had, it's just been phenomenal, and I'm so glad that everybody was willing to help, because we need to let them know that they're loved and that we can help them. So I just want to say thank you, and thank you, Adam.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Janice. Anything else to be heard? All right. Before we hear any motions, do we want to, I'm assuming that the board, but I don't want to assume wrongfully, does the board want to make the motion in favor of Adam Gunn's recommendations?
I'll make that motion.
I'll second.
All right. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, okay. All opposed? No? Unanimous? Congratulations.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you all.
Thank you for stepping up and volunteering, and I believe we have a little special ceremony from our amazing town clerk.
If I could have those of you that were selected to please come up to the front and line up together, please. Do that first. Do that one. Okay. Okay.
Ready? Raise your hand. I state your name. Do solemnly swear. That I will support and defend. The Constitution of the United States. The Constitution and general laws. Of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. The Charter and bylaws. Of the town of Abington. And I will faithfully. And to the best of my ability. Discharge the duties. Of the office to which. I have been appointed. Excellent, congratulations. And,
You can get them to sign this after.
Congratulations. And I believe you also have some other remarks to make as well, Adam.
I do, thank you. Just a few more minutes, probably 10. I do have one exciting announcement we recently got the approval for. Thanks to Tom Bryan and the Plymouth County Commissioners, we were recently approved to receive $50,000 from the American Rescue Plan Act. With these funds, we are going to establish the American Saves Fund. SAVES stands for Serving American Veterans with Emergency Support. Thank you to Julie Brown for coming up with that acronym. Applicants who meet the eligibility criteria, provide all financial documentation, will soon be eligible to apply for up to $1,400 for transportation, food, or heat expenses. There will be financial eligibility criteria in order to be eligible, of course, but this is one of the many projects I'm going to be bringing to the Advisory Council so we can help decide how to fairly and properly distribute these funds to those in need and continue these and other exciting programs in the future. While I have this podium and I wear this uniform, I can't leave without taking the opportunity to discuss a couple things that are near and dear to my heart. Just as a new Advisory Council will be helping me conquer veteran issues, I wouldn't be standing up here today if it wasn't for the support of the veteran organizations here in Abington. The American Legion, Louis V. Dorsey Post 112, VFW Post 5737, and the U.S. Veterans Vietnam Era Staff Sergeant Richard A. Fitz Chapter, also known as Post 2, are the backbone of everything we do in veteran services. I see someone from one of those organizations on a weekly basis to discuss a specific veteran or a widow that needs support. I run ideas by them or simply discuss future projects. They don't get paid, but they show up and volunteer their time every single day throughout the year. These organizations need more support, plain and simple. The American Legion, which is right next to the Ferrolio Middle School on Washington Street, if you're not aware, isn't about drinking at a smoking bar anymore like it used to be back in the day. They're making a difference in Abington. They're supporting veterans and families in need, and they hold family and friendly events for their members. I'm asking any veteran out there who's watching and able to reach out to these organizations and get more information. By joining, it doesn't commit you to being involved with every meeting, every function, and every event. I can't make them all either. By joining, it doesn't, they know people are busy. Please take a few minutes. Reach out, learn about what they do, stay in the loop so you can be a part of supporting this community when you can. Without their support, I can confidently say I wouldn't be standing here today. Ken Coburn, a retired Navy warrant officer and the current commander of the American Legion, took off quite a few hours when I first took over this job to show me around the cemeteries all over Abington so I can have a proper understanding of what it takes to be the veterans agent and the graves officer here and the scope of responsibility. Not to mention the countless meetings I have with them throughout the year. His wife, who he took over the commander of the American Legion from, people know her as Doctor, Reverend, Navy Chaplain, Counselor. She's an incredible speaker at just about any ceremony that Abington holds, and a dear friend of mine, Christy Coburn. She's serving others in Abington more than anyone I know. The commander of Post 2, John Beadle, right over there in the white, he's a Vietnam veteran and a Purple Heart recipient, and I'm also proud to call him my friend. He will do absolutely anything for veterans, and he's been serving veterans his entire life. Anything for veterans is something I often hear from Mr. Beadle. He's certainly an inspiration example for me to follow. Thank you, Mr. Beadle. Brian Martin, the VFW commander, works with veterans for the Sheriff's Department for Plymouth County and is always there if I need him. And they're currently looking for a smaller space to purchase in Abington if anybody's aware of anything. One thing they all have in common is a dedication to genuinely serving veterans and their family members in this community, regardless of the support they're receiving here in Abington. They need your help. It's an incredible honor to work next to each of them with everything we do in this department. So please, if you're watching, reach out if you have any desire or thought about getting involved just a little bit. If you've been hesitant for years, I've heard so many stories about something that had 5 or 10 years ago that prevents you from being involved in this community. Put that to an end, please. The town of Abington relies on their support, and we need their involvement. Without their proper support, we will lose so much, and I can't sit here quietly and watch that happen. Their personal cell phone numbers are listed on the town's Veteran Services page that lists our 3 veteran organizations, and it's also in the Senior Informer that goes all throughout the town. They care like you wouldn't believe, and they need the support from this community, and they can't do it alone. Please reach out, contact me, but just don't do nothing. Lastly, veterans wear this uniform for many different reasons, depending on the holiday. Veterans Day, they wear it with pride. Armed Forces Day, it's about the active duty, of course, but Memorial Day is a different story. Title 10 of the United States Code states that a person not on active duty who served honorably in a time of war in the armed forces may wear the uniform of the highest grade held by him during the war. For Memorial Day, we wear this uniform to honor those that gave their life for this country and our freedom. We wear it because those who sacrificed anything no longer have the opportunity to wear it. It's not worn to brag about our services or what we've done. None of these medals or ribbons on my chest were earned on my own. Every single one of them was earned on the back of someone else or due to the pushing and mentorship from countless others during my career. We don't wear the uniform for ourselves. It's a somber moment for every time in the uniform as we remember those who were much braver than I could ever imagine. We wear this uniform for the Gold Star families like Vicki Fitz, Karen and Aaron Vasilian, and the countless others that are out there. They need our support and they deserve it. So please don't wish somebody a happy Memorial Day weekend or thank me for my service that weekend. Have your barbecues, enjoy your family time, but always remember that those who gave their life for this country and our freedom, never forget them. And I'll end with that.
That was beautiful, Adam, and perfect tribute. Absolutely wonderful, and thank you for your service and your dedication to your men and women who paid the ultimate sacrifice, and the veterans who are here tonight and their families. And I do want to give a specific shout out to you and to our DPW Superintendent, John Stone. There has been some there's been needed repairs at the Richard Fitz Memorial, and thankfully next month that John Stone has made a commitment that that is going to happen next month, and but it could not have happened without Vicki Fitz, without the help of Adam Gunn and everyone here at Town Hall. We need to make sure that our dedications to our men and women, especially those who have paid the ultimate sacrifice, that they continue to be honored each and every day, and especially with the memorials that we have dedicated to them. And to quote John Stone exactly, anything for our veterans. So thank you to Adam, thank you to John, thank you to Vicki.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next item on our agenda is discussion and vote to act on request by the Plymouth County Retirement Association Board to accept Chapter 269 of the Acts of 2022 to allow a one-time increase to cost of living adjustment to retirees in FY 2023.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to have to excuse myself. I am a retiree.
Okay, Ms. Justburg,
What did you just say?
Excuse myself.
oh, excuse yourself, I'm sorry.
can't
Sometimes
say
my mind
anything.
wanders, I'm like,
We may have some options here. Can we take like a 5-minute recess?
Sure.
Talk to you about it, and I've been researching it a little bit.
okay, so,
We might have some options,
all right, cool, thank you.
just 5.
All right, at this time, the Board of Selectmen will be in a 5-minute recess.
Thank you.
Thank you. The time now being, we are back from recess. It is 7:13. We are on the agenda item, discussion and vote to act on request by the Plymouth County Retirement Association Board to accept Chapter 269 of the Acts of 2022 to allow a one-time increase to cost of living adjustments to retirees in FY 2023. Before we had gone to recess, Ms. Justburg had excused herself from the discussion due to a conflict. According to Mass General Law Advisory 55, the rule of necessity, an elected member of a city or town is ordinarily disqualified by the conflict of interest law from participating in a matter before the board that involves his or her own financial interests or that of an intermediate family member, a business partner, a business organization with which he or she has certain affiliations, or a person or organization with whom he or she is negotiating or has any arrangement concerning future employment. See Mass General Law, Chapter 268A, Section 19. In the rules, and in the rules of necessity and procedure for invoking the rule of necessity, let's see, the rule of necessity may be invoked by the chairperson of the elected board if the chairperson, actually, that's not relevant. When the rule of necessity is invoked, hold on, let me see. Actually, no, I was right. No, the necessity may be invoked by the chairperson of the elected board if the chairperson is not disqualified due to a conflict of interest. After receiving advice, preferably written from town or city council or the state ethics commission. If the chairperson is disqualified, then the rule of necessity may be invoked by disinterested board members. When the rule of necessity is invoked, each board member who has a conflict must disclose the fact that created the conflict, and then they may participate in the matter. So this, just a little overview. What we're potentially voting on here is the Plymouth County Retirement Association has requested that all the cities and towns in the county of Plymouth County, all 27, to allow a one-time increase of cost of living adjustments granted to retirees in FY 2023 from 3% to 5% of the system's $16,000 cost of living base. We did have this on a previous agenda, it was June 12th, we did. We did not vote on it then, we didn't have all the information to vote on it at that time. This is due to the Plymouth County Commissioners and to Plymouth County Treasurer by Friday. So if we do not have this vote tonight, then we do not, there is no vote
Our
for
voice
us.
won't count, right?
Our vote will not count. In accordance, for something like this to go into effect for the retirees, the act is considered only upon the approval by the Plymouth County Retirement Board, the Plymouth County Commissioners, and by 2/3 of the system select boards prior to June 30th, 2023. So as I said, the County Retirement Board has voted and approved this. The county commissioners have unanimously voted for this. And as of right now, there are 9 communities in Plymouth County who have voted in favor of this. And we have not taken a vote yet. But I think, in my capacity as chairman, I think this is important to invoke the rule of necessity for this. We do have Plymouth County retirees in Abington, so I think it's important that we take this action and not delay or take no action at all. So with that, you would be, Suzanne, you would be allowed to take this vote. But in accordance, I'll show you right here. This is each board member who has a conflict must disclose the facts that create the conflict and then may participate in the matter.
Okay.
I mean, you don't have to be specific or whatever, but it's, or,
Well, I am a
For brief-
retiree for just public knowledge.
all right, perfect, that's beautiful.
Perfect.
Scott, did I leave anything out?
No, I think you have it all there. Yep, I think you got it covered. I think, again, so we have to make this vote. There's only, I think, 8 communities, and they need at least 4 out of those 8 communities that are left to vote for in favor if this is to go through. We did receive correspondence from some of our retirees, obviously in favor of this. Social Security had a cost of living adjustment, so other retirees have felt it, and obviously, like everyone else, these folks are feeling the pinch, so.
Yes. And this cost of living adjustment with this will be by the towns over a 5-year period, correct?
Yeah, the cost to the town will be approximately $93,000 a year over 5 years. $93,000 a year, 5 years. Not divided by 5, but each year for 5 years. We pay currently, our assessment is over $3 million for retirement any given year anyways. This doesn't affect the current budget, or it will not affect the July 1 budget, but it'll affect budgets going forward. And obviously, the Finance Department and I have already looked at this, and, should it go through, we'll find a way to make it work.
All right, with that being said, is there any comments or questions from the audience? Come on up. State your name and address.
My name is Joseph McDonough. I'm the one of 2 elected members of the Retirement Board. And I was asked to come here tonight on behalf of the Retirement Board to answer any questions you may have. I just point out that this was legislation, excuse me, that was passed for state and teachers. They got the 5%, and then they did a supplement to that, I believe, and they added municipalities, but they had to go to each, in the county systems, we had to go to each of the selectments. We've been to 14, I believe, and I think as of an hour ago, we have about 13. So we need 1 more, or 2 more will be there, I believe. If you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer them. As the town administrator said, it'll be over in the next 5 years. What's also over in the next 5 years is your unfunded liability will be fully funded at the end of the 5-year period. So there'll be no more for your past employees. The only money that will be assessed would be for your current employees at that time in 5 years.
Any questions from the board?
I have none.
Thank you, Mr. McDonough.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right, with that being said, I will hear a motion on the table.
I'll make a motion to approve the Plymouth County Retirement, Chapter 269, Acts 2022, in one-time increase to the cost of living adjustment in fiscal year 2023.
All right, Mr. Chapin makes the motion. Chairman will second that motion. Anything else to be heard? All right, all in favor say aye. Aye. All opposed? No, unanimous? All right. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you.
All righty. Next on our agenda is vote to approve annual renewal of garage licenses. You will see in your packets our 2023 commercial garage licenses renewals. Let's see, the 2 pages. Scott, were there any issues with any of these licenses?
None that I'm aware of.
Yeah, it looks like from we didn't have any correspondence about any issues, so.
No, usually the chiefs will send something over if they do.
Right.
Nancy will
Yeah.
send something to us, so I'll just make a motion that we approve all the commercial garage license on, as listed on paper, from 810 Auto Motors LLC all the way down to Whitman Body Works, Inc. Approve those pending outstanding taxes and paperwork.
All right, Mr. Chapin makes that motion. Is there a second?
A second?
All right, Ms. Justburg makes the second. And are there any other discussion? All right, all in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. All opposed? Unanimous. All right. Those are approved. And next on our agenda is discussion and vote on MOU with Franklin Pierce University.
So last we met, I asked you folks to just table this until this week, just wondering or curious if there would be any implications with 30B or any other problems with, getting into this agreement with the university. So we asked our Labor Council, or excuse me, our General Counsel, Greg Corbo, to take a look at this from KP Law, and he did look at it, and he did say, with respect to providing discounted tuition for Abington employees, the discounted tuition is subject to 930 CMR 5087, which states that a public employee may accept a public employee discount of substantial value if the discount is available to a class consisting of all public employees or to a class consisting of all public employees from a city or town, county, or state, or to a geographically defined class of public employees. Therefore, it is my opinion that the employee discount is acceptable as long as it is available to all public employees of the town. Please note that the term public employees is interpreted broadly and includes part-time employees and board members who serve without compensation. Because the MOU appears to propose a discount for all public employees of the town, it is permissible in my opinion. Really the only other issue within the agreement that he did point out that he's not in favor of, but I personally don't believe it's much of a deal breaker, is that if we did at some point end up in some sort of a litigation with Franklin Pierce University for some reason, the MOU does call for it to be held in their jurisdiction. So obviously that would require us to, instead of using our own attorneys, we would ask them in that sort of scenario to hire an attorney, but I will put it to Franklin Pierce. I will ask them to strike that and say it would be maybe in our jurisdiction or a county that is close to our borders, but where this is they're in New Hampshire, in Rindge, New Hampshire. It's not like it's that far out of reach. So I think it is a good deal for the town. I think it's nice. It does offer a nice incentive for all employees. It, obviously encourages furthering their education. It seems like it's a win-win in as far as Franklin Pierce on their end. They obviously get to publicize it, use the press relations, reach out to our employees to advertise the fact that they're doing this. I don't really see a downside to it.
You mentioned something last meeting about signage or something.
It was, well, what my concern was is that, they would probably put up things like on our bulletin board, or maybe like the school bulletin board, or police bulletin boards, just saying, hey, we're offering this. This is something if you want to sign up for classes. Where my concern with it was we don't offer anybody to do that. That'd be like,
Yeah.
They are a for-profit organization, so that's why I wanted town council to look at that and say, should we be getting into an agreement with them, or does that open up to other folks who are also for-profit to say, well, why not me? And
We're
why
not
us?
guaranteeing them any sort of
Nope, there's no guarantees in this. It's really just, again,
advertising or
yeah.
anything like that.
it's more public relations back and forth.
So we'd have final say, they can't make us put something up.
No, and it also says that they can request it, and we won't withhold it within reason, we can. But again, I think it sounds like a good partnership, so we would go in there with sort of that, with the attitude that, yeah, we do want to foster a good relation with them, and, we do want to make this available to anybody who's interested.
Just for anyone at home watching, so is there any downside to us doing this, doing this MOU with Franklin Pierce?
As far as I can tell, I would say no.
All right, and it sounds to me that's what town council is saying as well.
Yeah. Yep, there's, like I said, again, our biggest concern was, my biggest concern originally was just the fact that we were, with a for-profit, that we were going to sign some sort of an agreement that would give discounts and also allow them to do certain things on town property where, but because they are an educational institution, and it is available to anybody who is an employee and considered an employee, including board members and, part-time employees, then the statute does allow for it, or the CMR does allow for it.
Okay. And how did this MOU come about with Franklin Pierce?
A firefighter, actually. I'm not sure. I think we have a firefighter who wants to sign up or had looked into signing up for classes, and they approached him and said, this is something that we do offer, and we look to partner with municipalities. If you want to bring it back to your town, we'd be happy to partner with them.
Okay.
And we can terminate this at any time, so can't they?
Yep.
But if people are enrolled, even if this is terminated, they still get
They get their discount until
they
the
get their
end of
discount.
The amendments that you were recommending, Scott, are they in this?
Not in this that you see. And I'm just, again, like I said, I will put it forth to them. I'm thinking, so it says the governing law, the substantive laws of the state of New Hampshire shall in all respects govern this agreement as though this agreement was entered into and will be entirely performed within the state of New Hampshire without regard to its conflicts of laws. Obviously, and we get into agreements with companies, not all the time, but it has come up often. Typically, it might be a software provider or somebody like that. And we do try to strike that for obvious reasons. It's, if we did get into litigation, again, we're hiring somebody out of New Hampshire now to protect us. I think that is a very, in this particular case, I think it's a very low likelihood that it would happen. Again, if we were purchasing something or, if it was some sort of a service agreement or purchasing, a fire truck that was being built in Minnesota, I might have which is not unusual, by the way.
Yeah.
We do
Yeah.
that, so I would probably have a different opinion on that.
All right. Would we have to, would you want that if we were to make a motion to approve this tonight, do you want us to include an amendment with what your recommendations are?
I don't think I'd want it to be a deal breaker for it. I think I
Okay.
would like to reach out to them and say, look, I'd really like to see you change that or come with something a little more, or actually I would probably ask Greg Corbo to reach out to them directly. But I think, again, I don't think it's a deal breaker in this case. In some cases, I would absolutely say it's a deal breaker, but.
Okay. All right, and then, and to Tim's point specifically with this, if, let's say, you weren't in favor of this afterward, you made the recommendations to Franklin Pierce, we could then immediately pull out as.
Yeah, there's an opportunity to get out of this, if we had to, but I don't think that wouldn't be the driving force
Sure.
in us wanting to sever ties with them.
All right. Well, are there any comments or questions from the audience? Come on up. State your name and address.
Ellen Delaney, 18 Washington Street. What is an MOU?
Memorandum of Understanding.
Okay, thank you.
Basically, it's an agreement.
Kind of like a contract, not quite as strong.
All right. Any questions or comments from the board?
I'll make a motion to approve the MOU with Franklin Pierce University.
All right, Mr. Chapin makes the motion. Is there a second?
I will second that motion.
All right, Ms. Jesberg makes the second. Any other discussion? All in favor, say aye. Aye. All right, carried unanimously. All right. The last piece on our agenda is the town manager report.
Okay, try not to take too long.
We didn't do it last time, so you owe us two.
All right, you want to stay? All right, so much of what we've been working on recently is just year-end closeout. The fiscal year wraps up on June 30th, so the departments are monitoring the spending and payroll We will enter all the new budget information, start working on projects that were approved at the past town meeting on July 1. We will be coming, the finance director and myself will be coming to this board and the finance committee in July to request approval of any year-end transfers that are necessary to cover individual department shortfalls. Funds that remain unspent from other departments or line items can be used to cover costs by departments that have had some unexpected expenses and exceeded their budget. This process does require approval of both the Board of Selectmen and the Finance Committee. So you can expect that on July 10th. When this board does meet again on July 10th, I'll be requesting that the board open a warrant for a special town meeting to be held on Saturday, October 14th at 9 a.m. At this time, we know right now that the Southfield Redevelopment Authority, along with New England Development Corp., will be seeking their new zoning regulations for the old Naval Air Base. Additionally, the Fire Station DPW Committee will be seeking funding for the construction of the co-located building project. I'll be asking for a ballot to be called for at the same time for an election for the debt exclusion, and we'll do that on the following Saturday. So town meeting would be on the 14th, and the following Saturday would be the ballot. So there'll be much more information coming out on both of those subjects. They're going to be made available probably beginning in July. You'll see, we'll have it on our website. We'll be putting it forward through social media, and there'll be in-person presentations, not only at different venues. They'll go to the senior center, but they'll also be in front of the selectmen, the finance committee, and the planning board well before town meeting. So we currently have a live survey, as Alex had mentioned earlier, regarding this project. We'll push it out again a few more times, and we're also going to do another one probably next month to try and get a little bit of feedback on what sort of questions and what the big concerns that folks may have, so we can make sure that we address those during our presentations. Liz Shea is working to create a special project page on our website, so there'll be just sort of one page that'll have access for all the information regarding different town projects, whether, road repairs, bridge repairs, building projects, the open space projects, recreational projects, et cetera. We'll also have within that a listing of all the grant opportunities that we either have received or are applying for. I know there's quite a few of them that we've been talking about, but it'd be nice to just have sort of one spot for everybody to actually see it. And right now, just an update on some of the grants that we have received that we haven't talked about much. We did get $100,000 to look into putting heat pumps at the senior center that will replace the aging AC units. We did have an AC unit go out about a week ago, and we're not going to wait for this heat pump to go in. We're going to replace it. I actually got authorization from Department of Capital Asset Management to do an emergency procurement on it. So we're going forward with that, and hopefully we'll get, we do have one company that does have everything we need in stock, so we should be able to pull the trigger on that right away. We got a $30,000 grant from the Mass Historical Society for the Memorial Bridge. CPC has allocated $70,000 also, so now we have the money to go forward with the full design of that project. And then once it's in full design, we can then ask for more grant money to help go towards actually repairing the bridge. We received an MBTA Communities Technical Grant for $19,890, and that was for us doing modeling and technical assistance with the requirements to be able to have a certain amount of housing available by right within certain distance of the commuter rail. So, and actually, that has gone forward. It's mostly done, and you'll have that in front of you probably in September to vote the final product on that. So we will be in compliance. Department of Conservation and Recreation has awarded us $60,000 for the design of the Greenway Connector Trail. So that is the trail that we've been talking about that will go from the library out to that piece of property that we put into conservation last year. It'll be, eventually that'll even bring through sidewalks, bike paths, and walking trails. It'll connect us all the way from here one way over to Memorial Field, and then the other way eventually right down to Ames Knoll.
Nice.
So this is the first part of that. This was a big win to get that $60,000, and now we
Is
can
that
go
enough for
into...
the designer? We're gonna need about 40 more.
I think that that's going to do it.
Nice.
But we may need a little bit more. We hope to leverage a little bit of, if we can leverage some of our American Recovery Plan Act money, and if we have to ask a little bit from CPC, it's certainly worthwhile. Again, it's another project that once it's fully in design, then we can take that design and go and ask for more money for grants to actually build it. And then the State Historic Records Advisory Board, we had a grant for $3,250 to help us with interpretive signage over at Island Grove, which will, sort of point out some of our historic landmarks over there and explain what they are.
Very cool.
So, yeah, that's it. Again, mostly working towards getting, meeting with the SRA, and getting that forward in the fire station building, DPW building committee.
All right. And how's the project going on the bridge on Central Street?
It's going on schedule right now. If things continue, it'll be done ahead of schedule. It's well into budget, so there's really no problems on it.
Very nice. Good to hear. Any other questions?
I know some people would like to see it done sooner
I
than
would
later.
like to see it done sooner. Just saying.
Any other questions or comments from the board? All right. Hearing none, I will entertain a motion to adjourn.
I'll make the motion.
All right, Mr. Chapin makes the motion.
And I second.
Ms. Justburg makes a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, all right. At 7:40, I call the Board of Selectmen meeting to concluded.